Well, hello there everyone, my name is Amy, this is the Opinionated Woman, and welcome back to Crafty Reads, the series where I do crafting, which is currently crochet, and I talk about the last 5 books that I've read. The project for today is I'm going to make a pouch like this. I'm not going to finish it, I am going to make the granny square for it, because I've made 2 of my scrap yarns, and then I got 1 more to make. And then I'm going to make them into these little pouches and add buttons. I just add a little bit, like maybe 10 rows or so there, and then fold it over, put the little buttons in, and they make a nice little story pouch for your trinkets. I'm doing these for Christmas presents, so this one's mine. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on. And we're going to get to talking about some books, so let's get started. I always forget to say this at the beginning of my videos, but if you like my content, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. And if you want to ever support my channel in any kind of way, I have a Kofi link down below, which is just a little $3 one-time tip to show your appreciation. But if not, just liking and watching the videos is amazing. So yes, anyway, let's get into the freaking books. Three out of these books that I'm going to talk about today I read physically, but 2 of them have gone back to the library, so I've only got 1 to show you, but I'll put the pictures right here. So the first book that I read was a hyped book, and oh my god, was it freaking hyped for a reason. Holy shit. And that is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I've read a lot of Matt Haig's books, and this is by far my absolute favorite. It's been getting a lot of hype, and I know exactly why now. Jesus. So trigger warning for suicide ideation, death. There's a lot of existential stuff in here. So I was always excited to read it, but I wanted to read it when I was at a good mental stage, and I'm in a good mental stage right now. But it wasn't as harrowing as I thought it was going to be. So we're following our main character Nora, who has decided to end her own life. So we start off the story where it's basically like 2 days before she decides to die, 1 day before she decides to die, 12 hours before she decides to die. And we get like her inner monologue. There's like a lot of stuff that she can that she regrets, a lot of things that she would change. She's like really not very happy in her life, and she decides to take an overdose, and instead of just dying like she expects, she finds herself in this place called the Midnight Library. And the books on these shelves are all different versions of Nora's life if she had made different decisions in her life. So guided by her regrets, she goes into a host of different lives and finds out that like what it would be like at this very moment in time for her, like at that age, in like her early 30s, what would her life be like, and would that be one that she would prefer to live than the one that she just wanted to opt out of. And I thought it was so interesting. It really gives you a lot of space for, oh dear, no, sorry. It gives you a lot of space for introspection. Like, it made me look back on a lot of different things in my life and be like, well, if I made this, I would have loved to come out earlier, but then would that mean that I didn't have the life that I have now, that I wouldn't have Hugo, that I wouldn't have Abby, things like that. So it like gets you to really look inwards on what your life is like, which I found really, all his books are like that. But with the fact that this has such a sad premise, that this is someone that's trying to escape this life completely, the way that it ends has such an aura of hope that I think that anybody who struggles with this kind of thinking, I think would really benefit from this. I know I did, and I have suffered from suicide ideation before. I just thought it was an incredible book, and it was worth every bit of hype. Then I picked up Bomboy by Yewande Omotoso. This author's really great. I picked up another book of hers earlier this year, so I was very keen to pick up another one. And Bomboy is told in 2 different time frames. It's set in Joburg or Cape Town. I can't remember. It's in Joburg or Cape Town. And we're following a main character, Leke, in our present timeline. He's a black man who was adopted by white parents, and he's got like an office job, you know, like in a cubicle, and he's having a bit of an issue at the moment. Like his behaviors are very strange. He'll go out and follow people in malls, follow people around the different suburbs. He'll steal small items. He started to act like really like a hypochondriac, going to doctor after doctor, trying to get diagnosed with something, but he doesn't actually know what it is. So these actions are very strange. But then we go into the past, where we're getting the story of Leke's birth mother while she's pregnant with him, as well as getting the letters that his father wrote to him while he was in prison. And Leke never got to read these letters until later on in life. And it really shows the trauma and the inherited trauma that he has, and why it's coming out in his behavior now, like these different trauma responses, and these just like almost not understanding your past in such a dramatic way that you are acting out, basically, like in a way that other people would, you know, use drugs or alcohol and things like that. And yet again, Yewande Matoso, absolutely amazing at taking really nuanced topics and talking about it in a very clear and complex manner, and like readable manner. I just really love the way she writes, and yeah, this one I enjoyed yet again. Then I decided that I wanted to read a cozy mystery, so I've been working on, this is the project from the last Crafty Reads. Can you see? I put it on my little table here, so, I took it off my chair, so I finished it. So I decided I was going to have a whole weekend of just crocheting and listening to this audiobook. So I will link the video. I think it should have got up just before this one. And the cozy mystery that I picked for this video was Magic Lies and Deadly Pies by Misha Pop. And this book was everything you want in a cozy mystery. We're following Daisy, who owns this little pink truck that she lives and works out of, and she makes pies, and she has magic, and the magic is put in the pies. So she will be selling out of her little truck by one of the universities, and her pies are imbued with like energy and focus, you know. So she can put her magic into the pies, and her magic is inherited, though her ancestors didn't necessarily have their magic through the medium of cooking. But she is the first one to start using it for murder. So she basically on the side has this little vigilante group called Pies Over Guys, and it's like a referral system that she's worked out, where these women who need to get rid of these horrible men that are abusing them will come to her, give her referral link, and request a pie. And she will make this pie for this specific man, so there's no poison, there's no like other people getting affected by it. It's totally meant for him. And she'll kill these men, basically. She's like a little pie assassin dressed like a 50s housewife. So it was so cute. And so she's got that going on. And then we've got this mystery running through it, where the one day she wakes up and there is a note on her trailer that says, I know what you're doing, and if you don't want me to uncover your secret, then you need to kill these 3 people for me with these certain pies. And all of these people are women. She doesn't kill women. That is like a policy of hers. She only kills bad men. And so that's the mystery that's going through this. Who is this person? How is she going to get away with this? And there is also a pie baking competition. So this book basically has everything you need in a cozy mystery, and I really freaking loved it. I'm going to pick up, there's another one in this series. I'm definitely going to pick it up, and I'm definitely going to try a few more. I'll see which ones that Kayla recommends in her vlogs, because I'm definitely keen to pick up more in this genre. It's so wholesome. Then the only physical book that I have to show you, and that is Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. This book is also another very hyped book. It's been talked about for a while, but I found a nice copy in my secondhand store. And so apparently it's a retelling of Turn of the Screw, but I don't know what happens in Turn of the Screw, so I just went into it blind. So we're following the main character, Rowan, who is a nanny. And she just got hired by this really rich family in Scotland who has a smart home. They're like a pair of architects and they have a smart home, which already to me is fucking creepy as shit. I can't even handle Google Homes or Alexas. Like the fact that there's something listening to you that whole time, nah, bruh. Like not for me, not in a million years. So she goes to Scotland to look after these 4 girls, like these 3 little girls and 1 teenager. And after a day of being there, the parents let her know, like, oh, by the way, we're going away for work. You're going to be alone for like a week and a half. So this poor girl has to try and sort out how the fucking smart house works and handle these children that she's never actually met before. And some really creepy things start to happen, like because the home is completely controlled by apps, like the lights will all turn on at 3 a.m. and blast music really loud. And other creepy things, she hears creaking above her head, like at night in the attic. And there are a bunch of other, like the doorbell going and there's nobody there. Like that really freaked me out because I used to live in a place and people used to ring my doorbell because I lived on the main road, and people used to ring my doorbell at like 3 a.m. and it used to scare the living shit out of me. So that sort of thing really freaked me out. So that like tension and the thrillingness I found was really good in this book. And there's a few twists in here, and I didn't see them coming in a good way. Like they didn't seem ridiculous. They seemed like that they made total sense. And I'm just adding on this nice dark teal, just to see. I'm making one that looks like this. Yeah. So there's a couple of twists in here, and I thought all of the twists were really well executed, and I didn't see them coming in a very obvious way. They didn't seem ridiculous. The only thing that I have... Oh, I had a bit of trouble there. Oh, dearie me. Eek. The only thing is that I think the ending could have been handled in a slightly different way. I like the ending, but I don't like how fast it happened. Like I think it just happened way too quickly and explained things in a very like direct sort of, oh, well, this, and this. And you're like, oh, okay. I just think it could have been shown a bit more than told right at the end, but I still thought it was a really good twist and unexpected. And Ruth Ware is, thank goodness, one commercial thriller author that I do really enjoy, that's quite popular, that I have been encouraged to pick up more from, so that's always good. And the last book we have is Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. This is a historical fiction. My mom recommended it, and we're following this sweet girl called Mary Jane. She's about 14, and she has been hired as a nanny for the summer. And Mary Jane comes from a household that's really conservative. Her parents are very like 1950s style, you know, like her mom has a recipe for she has like a menu for the week that she does, and she does like the freaking crazy housewife roles and then goes to the club to bitch about all the other housewives. And they're kind of anti-Semitic and a bit racist. It's set in the 70s. And they're very religious. So Mary Jane is brought up, you know, very, very conservative, like singing in the church choir. She loves to sing, but very, very sheltered and modest. And she starts to work for this family called the Cohns. And her mother was very happy for her to take this job because Dr. Cohn is a doctor, but he's actually a psychologist. And it's something that her parents don't know is that one of the psychologists' celebrity clients is coming to live with them over the summer. That's why they need help with their daughter Izzy, because he's trying to get clean. His name's Jimmy, and he's brought his wife Sheba with him, and they're both very, very famous. So she she starts nannying in this environment, and she's literally turning into, like, she cooks dinner for them, she cleans without being asked because they're really messy, because the mom is not really much of a housewife. Like, she doesn't work, but at the same time, like, she doesn't really cook, or she doesn't clean, and she doesn't wear a bra, which I like because I don't wear a bra either. But the contrast between Mary Jane's mom and Mrs. Cone was like so dramatic that like it, you can see how Mary Jane is completely taken aback by this way of speaking. They're like very sexually open. Izzy can ask, all kinds of questions, and they'll give her like the right answers. Not like a kiddified version of an answer. She has a coloring in book that has different genital anatomy that she gets to color in. So it's like taking the stigma away. So there's a lot of things about the way that Izzy grows up that's like very different to Mary Jane, and it starts to bring out a different side of Mary Jane. It starts to let her be a little bit freer so that she can be her, not who her parents expect her to be. And I thought that was really sweet. But on the other hand, this family is a little bit wild, and he's like, it's obviously a rock star and an actress. They're a little bit crazy. Like maybe don't smoke the joint in front of the children, stuff like that. So the two sides of the way that these children are brought up is like so dramatic. But I just loved seeing Mary Jane like mature into herself and become a little bit more confident and learning about her own style. And it's just one of those books that's really nice and about people. It's just about people and the interconnectedness. There's like some drama, nothing majorly dramatic. It's just about people, and I love that type of book. So if you enjoyed that, you'd probably like Mary Jane as well. And I do recommend the audiobook because they do a lot of singing, which is a nice addition. Okay, so with this treble crochet, I'm nearly done, but we are done with this Crafty Reads. I hope you did enjoy that. I certainly did. Please like, comment, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. Leave me a comment if you've read any of these books. I'd love to chat about them as usual. And with that, I'll check you next time.